If you've been charged with domestic violence in Washtenaw County, I have bad news and I have good news. The bad news is that Washtenaw County is one of the toughest counties in all of Michigan to be charged with domestic violence. In other counties, there's sometimes an option as a first offender for domestic violence to have your case dismissed and off of your record. Unfortunately, Washtenaw County does not offer this as often as other counties do. There's a small exception of cases where they will consider it, but most cases the answer is no. This means that that option is not available as a default. The good news is I've developed the Ann Arbor Criminal Defense Playbook. In this playbook, I talk about domestic violence cases in Washtenaw County and how I approach them with my clients. It's important from day one in a domestic violence case to demonstrate that you're not a dangerous person. You're not a person who's drinking alcohol or doing drugs. Most likely at this point you're no longer in the house with the person who's the alleged victim. What we try to do, if you want to, is get you back in the house. But what we need to do is be proactive about it. Demonstrate to the judge that you're not drinking alcohol, you're not doing drugs, and you're working with a counselor in order to discuss and alleviate any triggers for further violence in the house. The last thing a judge is going to allow is to allow someone back in a house where this can happen again. So what we do is we tackle all of that from day one. Now sometimes the strategy for my clients is we don't want to be back in the house. If my client is telling me that they're innocent and these charges are false, why would we go back in the house with the same person who called the police and told the prosecutor that you committed a crime? To simply go back is to open you up for additional charges, to get yourself into trouble. If you go back in this house and this particular person calls the police again and says, well, it happened again, well, who are they going to believe? The person who's charged with domestic violence already, or the person who's already been a victim? You're likely then to face additional charges or bond violations. So what we do with my clients is from day one we discuss, should you go back in the home? Is it best for your case? Usually the answer is no. You should be outside the home. You should be fighting your case, trying to resolve your case without that distraction. So in my book I detail some of the proactive things that we do. What we try to do in Washtenaw County is not only do we learn everything about your case and all possible defenses for trial or motions to have your case dismissed, but how can we demonstrate that you should be one of those small exceptions to the rule in Washtenaw County? Generally, no, we won't dismiss the case, even as a first offender. Well, how do we get over that hurdle? How do we show the prosecutor's office that you're this one person who deserves this consideration, that you're someone who has learned from the case and going forward will make better decisions? It's a tough prosecutor's office to convince that you deserve a second chance, but if you simply sit back and hope that it happens, well, it's not going to happen. If you want to be proactive from day one, I can give you the tools in order to do that. Right now you may want to scream, this is not who I am. I'm not a criminal. I don't commit domestic violence. But unfortunately, this is the only thing the prosecutor and judge know about you. The police report, any videos, any photos, it's showing them that you were in a situation where you were charged with domestic violence. And ultimately it may not be true, but that's the perception that they have of you. How do we change that story? How do we get extra consideration? How can we create additional options in your case? The goal in any domestic violence case is to keep it off of your record. Does that mean we go to trial and have the case have a not guilty verdict? Does that mean we have the case dismissed by the prosecutor? How do we avoid jail? How do we avoid 2 years of probation? How do we avoid daily alcohol testing? You can do this the easy way or the hard way. So what I say is go online, learn more about me, learn more about the charges, learn more about the court. Judge Hines will be the judge in your case if it's an Ann Arbor case. The prosecutor will definitely be the Washtenaw County Prosecutor's Office. Find out everything about them. We can talk about the specifics of your case. I'm very selective in the clients that I take on, but I'm willing to hear about your case and consider and to see if you're the right fit for my program. So I look forward to helping you with your case.